What's going on, guys? Welcome back inside of Moco. There are 3 things that we need to talk about today regarding this game. The first thing is experience gain. The second has to do with monetization, and the third, well, the CPU bomb. Now, you guys may be wondering where I came up with these ideas and topics to discuss in this video. Well, it's important that you know that I looked through the comments of all of my videos, and 2 of the comments had to do with 2 of my topics. One of them from Matesh saying, everything is cool and all, but the power progression that is slated to be removed just makes me nervous about this update. It might not be worthwhile without the power progression. That may just be me, but who knows? Plan to grind through to elite level 50 and stopped at 25, feeling anxious about the power progression. Let's discuss that. Now, it's worth noting that this was actually a massive topic of conversation while I was over in Finland. Power progression inside of this genre of a game is our motivation to grind through the game. Without having power progression, it feels kind of like, what am I playing for? So what Supercell needs to do is think of a reward system that is worth grinding for. Currently, there are a few things that you're going to be grinding in the new version of Moco. One of those is your overall player account level. That's going to be grinded over time consistently, and the higher your level, the more of an OG you look like to all the people in the open world. The second are those weapon masteries that we spoke of in that big update video that I posted a few days ago. Weapons are going to be able to be upgraded through the mastery system, eventually unlocking cool cosmetics like gold and then maybe even things beyond that. I recommended that they went with I'm glitching out here, sorry. There we go. That they went with something like a diamond and platinum, things that we're familiar with from games like Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, and all of those things. Someone even mentioned a prestige type system that we know from those types of games. Because when you do remove power from an ARPG, we can call this, it feels weird. But something else was discussed also, and that was the Supercell way. When you think about any Supercell games that have been massive hits, Clash of Clans, the first big base builder to really take it to wars and take it to competitive scenes, Clash Royale, a new tower defense style game, and then even Brawl Stars, a top-down 3v3 battler. Just they did things in a unique way, and they really changed and defined genres. So in a nutshell, that's kind of the idea that they're going with Moco. Taking a genre that's already been developed and it's established. ARPGs are nothing new, but adding a casual element to it that allows players to play together no matter when they started playing the game is something that is unheard of. It feels a little bit unnatural, let's be honest. It's just not what you're used to feeling when playing an action RPG. But in doing this and taking out that power progression that we all feel comfortable with and enjoy grinding, you're being able to swap in the ability to play with anyone, anywhere with no restrictions, be able to play any dungeon or rift based off of your skill rather than based off of the level that you've grinded. For example, if you're playing a rift and you're not able to beat that rift, you just have to over level yourself to make yourself stronger than the rift, and then you'll be able to beat it. That's the traditional way. But this new way is going to make it be more skill based, and in doing that, it also really opens itself up to competition and to esports. Now, I would be lying if I didn't have the same concerns myself, as well as a handful of the content creators, as well as a handful of the team members creating the game. They don't know 100% right now that everyone's going to be on board with this XP free zone. Now, you still are gaining experience, but you are not gaining it for power, if that makes sense. So what we're doing here is creating this version of the game, thinking and having in mind that this is the way for Moco, genre-defining changes. And the reasoning behind it all makes sense. So really, it's just all about, will the community be able to enjoy it and want to grind the game by utilizing this system? And are they going to feel like you're not being gypped of something, or maybe just getting bored? The cool thing though is, let's say it doesn't work and people want experience back in the game in some way. Changes can always be made. We've seen these things happen as games have developed over time. Think of Brawl Stars and think of Clash Royale. They have changed so many times and continuously developed. This is the beginning for Moco. Much more development can come. I'm very much hoping for myself, for the game, and for all the player base that this power-free game is actually going to take off and be incredibly fun for everyone to play. I think it's best for the game overall. Now, the other question is over here from Living in Laduga saying, did they mention why they took out the CPU bomb? And to be honest, like many people in the comment section of this video actually answering that comment, it wasn't even thought of. Honestly, when I was playing over at Supercell headquarters, it didn't dawn on me and make me say, oh, where's the CPU bomb? It wasn't something that I missed. Now, with that being said, you notice the gameplay we're watching is me utilizing the CPU bomb, so it's actually a really cool weapon. Remember, the weapons, I shared 19 weapons with you guys. 8 of those weapons are going to be upon launch of the game, when we're there in Q1 of 2026. 8 weapons will be there on launch. Then within the first month, 2 more weapons are going to be introduced from that list of 19 that I shared with you. So when you do the math, the first 6 months of the game is going to have 2 new weapons every single month, launching with 8, and then 2 more every single month. Beyond that, they're going to need to create more weapons, and I actually hope, and I did put in word to Supercell, that I think the CPU bomb has a place in the game. I think it's a lot of fun, and that's why I'm playing with it right now. So having that re-entered into the game, I think could be a lot of fun, and honestly, it's something that I would like to see. The great thing about moco and the moco team and how the game is being developed is it very much can be developed to what the audience, you guys, want to see. If there's an outcry of we want this in moco, that outcry is going to definitely be heard, and potentially some of those changes can be brought to the game, and I absolutely love that. And finally, I want to talk about revenue, because this post just came out over on X from Moco Intel, and from looking at this number, you'll be like, uh-oh, Moco only made $110,000 last month. This is for November. Squad Busters made 12K, but that's because they are killing Squad Busters. Boom Beach made 1.1 million. If we recall back, Moco was up there with, above Boom Beach, making more money for a game that had just launched that wasn't really getting much promotion. And that's what a lot of the reasoning here is. Let me tell you about this. Supercell is not focused on generating revenue for Moco right now. When you think about it, very little changes are coming to this version of the game now. They're working towards the new version of Moco, Neo Moco. So there's no advertising going on. It's really just people that happen to stumble across the game in the App Store, that happen to watch content creators that are covering the game like myself, or just randomly are playing the game. That's where the monetization is coming. And on top of that, they're not doing a ton of crazy things with cosmetics to be purchased inside of the game anyways right now, because the game's focus is to create the version of the game that's going to be the global launch, the global relaunch, if you want to call it, of Neo Moco, and then they could start pumping any advertising, and they could bring in the players, which will bring in the revenue. So I don't want anyone to think that because revenue is low right now for Moco, that it's a sign that the game is going to die or it's going to be killed. No, revenue on the game right now is zero focus for Moco and the Moco team. They want to build first, and they can then make money from their cosmetics later, because again, remember, the cosmetics inside of the game are the only way to monetize Moco. Now remember, if you are buying anything inside of the shop, because again, you do have your trader tokens and all of that, well, if you decide to buy anything in the game, head on over, throw in code ECHO, which directly supports my channel and invites you over to the Echo chat, an exclusive chat that has no top. We could get as many players in here as we want, and I try and bring in as many players as I can into my content on a regular basis, because that's what communities are for. What I also do is take a look at the comments and see what you guys had to say, and I try to feature a bunch of your comments in all of my videos as well. Let me know your thoughts on the discussions we had here today, and I'll be sure to keep an eye on what you want to talk about next. Have a great day.